Now let's talk about nanny machines. Okay, this is the main manual for the 4Runner, page 563. And I'm not going to read you all this, but you can find it right there. To reiterate, this vehicle will tell anybody else who's potentially interested, such as police or Toyota, what you were doing, how fast you were going, how far the brake pedal was pushed, transmission lever, seat position, etc. So they take all this information from you and they decide what to do with it. So you're basically 2 out of 3 times they're going to use this potentially against you. Now let's look at something else in the back here. Okay, let's put the light on. Okay, so they talk about, make a big deal about the seats fold flat nowadays, right? So there's the back seats, and then flat to me means flat. And yet they have this enormous hump thing, okay? This bump, it's what, 2 inches tall, does not make everything flat. So what I thought of doing, see, the whole purpose was that this thing flips up. Okay, the purpose of this was so that things don't go flying forward. Okay? Now the problem with this is I go, okay, well, let's just remove it. Well, no, even the edges still stick up to 2 inches. So there's 4 of those, and you can imagine it's very uncomfortable to try to sleep in here or lay flat as they talk about. You can't. So they have these chunks of plastic in the way of something that's supposed to be flat. So when they say it's flat, don't expect the whole thing to be level. Okay, now let's talk about comfort versus safety. These headrests are incredibly uncomfortable. You could see on the opposite one how it pushes your head forward. I understand that most Americans' headrests are too far from the back of their head to help with whiplash. So in the 99.9% of the time that you're driving on this vehicle, this thing is pushing your head forward, which is incredibly irritating, gives you a headache, and you kind of want to just pull it out and face backwards. There's just no good way I found to fix that. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting the seat back further so that my head doesn't actually touch this thing. You'll discover how irritating that is. Okay, now let's talk page 187 about this echo driving indicator light. Okay, so you're driving along and then there's this green thing that pops up all of a sudden. And so if you're driving just normally and all of a sudden you see this green thing flash, you wonder, did I break something? Did something happen? Is it some kind of alert? And it's supposed to be a feel-good, make you feel like you're driving appropriately. There is a way of turning it off. I think for people who are very sensitive and focused on driving, this green flashing light is pretty irritating. And page 187 talks about how to turn it off. Okay, as soon as you get your vehicle, go to page 401 and turn this lady's volume down. As soon as you start the phone system, it's very loud, very irritating, and you can change the settings going through setup and then guidance volume, which you can turn down. Of course, they don't let you do anything while you're driving. Okay, let's go through the steps of going up 2 different off-road areas. So the first step is, if you look down here, we are in 2-wheel drive. So we go into gear, we start driving. And just about now, we can't go further. So we have a couple of choices. We can do the traction issue up here, and that will allow spinning more, but that's not going to get us anywhere. Second option is to go into 4-wheel drive. So let's start with that, and you can do that even when you're moving. You see the flashing green. So now we're in 4-wheel drive. that doesn't help. We're still spinning. So we have some more options. So probably the best option next is turn this button on here, and it's on heavy now, so we'll switch it for mogul, loose rock, mud, sand, and dirt. So let's leave in mud, sand, and dirt. The reason I did is you can stay in 4 high in mud, sand, and dirt, but it won't let you do that if you're in another mode. Okay, so let's see if that works. So no, so we can't go. So the next step is go into neutral, put it into 4 low, and you'll see 4 low there, and all the other lights are going on. And then, since we know already that this loose stuff won't work, let's start with the next one. So it'll be called loose rock. So put in gear. That doesn't work. So next step up, mogul. And we're able to get up that way. So it progressively decreases the slippage, and the highest would be rock, which is the next one in place. Okay, so now let's make it so that we need to use even more radical technique. Okay, so let's go up even steeper now. So we'll start going uphill. Well, it's not going, so let's go one more step up. Okay, so there it says rock. So it's the least amount of slippage. So you can see if that goes there. So we got that, and now let's go straight up this hill. Now another technique that might work for you is to turn this button on, and you'll see on the dash in the crawl mode. So we're going to go as slow as possible, let go, and it'll crawl up by itself. Now let's do the same in reverse. Now, just for fun, I turned that off. You see the second little green car is off? Okay. That went down quickly because it's too heavy for the anti-slip backwards technique.